Hello, everybody. Today is day 98 of Talking to Camera every single day for 100 days. We're getting there. 3 more. This is the last 3. Down to the final 3. So come in, sit down. Let's today talk about the topic of evolution. Humans, we started as monkeys. Well, not monkeys, actually. That's factually incorrect. We didn't start as monkeys. We were similar to monkeys. We have a common ancestor. But we weren't ever monkeys. Other than you, I would just like to say that comment was not racially motivated at all. Just putting that out there. Anyway, come in. Let's talk about evolution. Evolution is a topic that was started with, what's his name? I've forgotten his name. There's that one guy, the evolution guy. Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was the pioneer of the evolution field. He originally spoke of evolution in the terms that at a time which was fully believing in the Christian religion, he was one of the first people to come out and say, well, actually, I have a different idea, and it's science. And my idea is that you guys, Christianity might not be the only way. There can also be other ways of how we are developing as a species. And he was absolutely hated. He was flamed. People hated him. People hate new ideas, apparently. They hated Galileo when he said, guys, there's stars out there. People hate new ideas because it's kind of like, yeah, you're actually, what you believe this whole time was wrong. And people don't like that. People don't like to be proven wrong. They like to be correct, as do we all. So evolution, he came out, he actually wrote the paper about 20 years before he ever published his paper on evolution, which was about the birds on the Galapagos Islands and how they developed differently depending on what island they were on. Very interesting topic. Some birds developed the ability to, have beaks that could break into nuts, and some birds were more easily available to fly to find their food. It was a very vast time, and it is a very interesting thing. He was originally invited, actually, onto the ship that sailed to those islands as a scientist on board, because at that time, when you went on great expeditions, people wanted someone to talk to, someone that was interesting to have some talking points about them, that they could have on the ship as just someone to sort of be interesting. Someone who brings the vibes. And that was generally why naturalists, I guess sometimes historians, people like that were brought onto these ships that sailed on these expeditions. So that was actually his job. His job was just to be an interesting guy on the ship and to write about stuff, which just sounds like a peak life. His job was to be interesting. I wish I was interesting like him. That'd be pretty sick. Get paid to be interesting. But we can't all be interesting. Unlike this guy. Anyway. By the way, today is being filmed in a 4th undisclosed location. Inside of another undisclosed location. So we are in, as you can see, the great outdoors. There's the sky. Just saw a bird fly by. That bird originated from a species that wasn't that bird. And that's the beautiful thing about evolution. It's change and adaptation over time to become another version of a creature, a species, or yourself. Yes, that's right. You yourself. You're evolving. Everyone we know around us these days is constantly evolving. We're all evolving. And that's a good thing. Evolution is something that takes time, and I think that is also a really solid metaphor for human change as well. You don't just change overnight. You don't just suddenly become a new person. It's literally not possible. It's not in your biology, and it's not in your mental state. You can't just change. I've said this before, I'll say this again. It is impossible to just change overnight. Change happens over a period of time. I started to like the gym a bit more over a few years. I didn't just wake up one day, I was like, I want to go to the gym. It took time, and change happens. It takes time. And I think that's a good thing because it means you have a transition period. You have time to evolve and change. Evolution is a positive for humanity, and personal evolution is a positive for yourself. And I think we all just need to embrace the changes, because sometimes the changes we have stop us from the whole species dying. That's a fact. Genetic variation. Go look it up. Goodbye.